How do I invest in an inheritance to benefit my kids? So my man Mike writes in. He says he's in his mid-40s. He's doing well, and he's about to inherit a small amount of money from a passing relative. It's about 40K is what he says. I'm just looking over my dogs. I just love my dogs. All right. He's got two daughters, 6 and 8, and he wants to put money in a Roth IRA for them directly, like one that has a basic S&P 500 index fund. My rough thought was that long-term average approximately 10% a year. That's when my kids go to retire. It will likely be worth around $4 million. Split both ways. That's a nice chunk of money. Here's my problem. How do I do this? Seems I can't do it directly because they don't work. Figured I'd put it in an account under my name, but don't know how I'd move it over to them later. So thought of some model using an LLC or an S Corp, but don't know enough. I also don't know if this is the best idea. Thought of a trust or an irrevocable trust, but again, don't know enough, and I'm trying to get it started ASAP since I am capped at $6K a year. Okay. All right, so he's way overthinking this. Way overthinking this, man. All right, no trust, certainly no irrevocable trust. Come on. Now, and I'm not bashing the guy. He's like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? He knows he can't put in a Roth because they don't work. You don't need a trust. You don't need an LLC. You don't need an S Corp. Don't do anything like that. You literally, this is how you do it. You take your $40,000, you put $20,000 each into the VTI, and just be done with it. If you want to gift it later, by all means do so. But at least you have control. You don't open an UTMA, a Uniform Transfer to Minors Act. You don't open an UGMA, a Uniform Gift to Minors Act. Depends on what states you live in. Those are both custodial accounts, which means when they hit the age of majority, 18 years old, it's theirs. They own the money, and you can't do anything about it. So if they want to go sniff dope, they can do it with that money right there. Don't do that. You literally open two accounts. You got, Jane and Brenda. You put $20,000 each, VTI, and never look back. Literally that simple. But what about taxes? How much are taxes on VTI? Anyone want? Now, I'm not talking about my mic here. I'm just talking about all you naysayers. How much are taxes on VTI on $20,000? I want to take a guess. None. No capital gain tax. Index fund. Dividends on $20,000. What? 2%? If even that on VTI, we're talking $400. Wow. Taxes, ordinary qualified dividends. Come on. Now, I would take huge exception to old Mike's thinking about 10% a year. No way, man. I mean, if you can't get that, that's fine. I'd look at 5% a year. So we take $20,000. We got Brenda at 5% a year. Oops, 1 second. Hey, man. There we go. So 20,000 schmackers at 5% a year, and we'll do it for 30 years. That puppy would be worth $86,000 in 30 years. Now, he's saying by the time they retire, they're not going to sit on this money until they retire, unless you keep it in your name. So then you got 60 years. They'll be worth $373,000 at 5%. They're not, look, but I mean, I'm telling you right now, that's not, you shouldn't look at this money to keep it for the rest of their life. This should be their money they use for a down payment, if not a house outright. Probably a good down payment by then. But that's the way I look at it. They're not going to keep it till they're 60. I'm just telling you, it's not going to happen. Life hits, man. And the issue that you're going to have to contend with is, like, if you hold it in your name, you'll have to gift it to them, which is subject to gift tax. It won't, as we say here today, there's no gift tax, but they will have to pay capital gain when they sell the proceeds. Whip the flip and do. It just doesn't matter. So you file a gift tax form 709. You say, I'm giving 709. Say, I'm Mike. I'm giving Brenda my money. It's worth $200,000. The cost basis was probably by that point $50,000. So Brenda inherits a 200. It doesn't inherit. She inherits, like, I'd say inherit. It's not the right word. She inherits the cost basis. She doesn't inherit the value, like a date of death, like a step-up value. I hope that makes sense. So she's inheriting what the cost basis is. So you invested $20,000. You got a bunch of dividends in there. We'll just say the cost basis has grown from 20 to 50. That will be her cost basis when she receives that gift from you. All right, so it's worth $200,000. The cost basis is 50. She sells that property, that investment, for $200,000. She's going to own long-term capital gain on the 150. Whip de flip and do, man. It's no big deal. No big deal. You could wait till you die and she'll inherit it with a step up basis and not have to pay any tax. But she's going to need the money before you're dead. She's going to need a family. She's going to need to pay off debt. She's going to need to buy a house. Just open an account, put it in your name, leave it there, never look back. And then when she's ready to use the money, give it to her. So I got this money for your Brenda and Jane as whatever you want, but you're not going to sniff it up your nose. Don't make this too complicated. Hope this helps. Love to your guys' thoughts.